What's up, everybody, and welcome to an all-new episode of Casters of Horror. I'm Chris Mess.
I'm Shane, and this week we'll find out if I believe in redemption. We watched Blood and Honey 2.
Yes,
Right?
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2.
Blood and Honey 2.
Yes. So when we watched the original, or the first one, I enjoyed it, and Shane did not.
No.
So we will see see what his take on this is.
Yeah.
But
we could probably, I don't mind going into that, a little bit.
Okay, Shane didn't like it. So anyway, this film, once again, written and directed by Reese Frake Waterfeld, also written by Matt Leslie and A.A. Milne. So well done for them giving the original creator of Winnie the Pooh credit in the writing.
Oh, nice.
So it stars Scott Chambers, Tallulah Evans, Ryan Olivia, and a bunch of other people you've probably never heard of. This
Definitely.
once again is a take on the Disney or the children's story of Winnie the Pooh, and how one man can make a nightmare out of anything. So anyway, in the first film, Winnie the Pooh and Piglet wreak havoc on a bunch of campers and Christopher Robin, who's come back to the 100-Acre Wood for the first time in a long time. And this film kind of takes off after that. We find Christopher Robin, who his life has now been put basically into a state of ruin after the massacre that had happened at 100-Acre Wood. And he is kind of being blamed for all the murders. Though they have no evidence against him, he's the one who's kind of taken the brunt of all of it. Well, Pooh's mad too.
Yeah.
And we got Piglet for a brief second.
Yeah.
And we get to see Owl and Tigger for the first time in this one. So
we also get to hear a lot of Tigger.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, Tigger never shuts up.
Yeah. Tigger talks a lot. He does.
Yeah. Tigger is trying to be like he's trying to have the whole Freddy Krueger vibe going on.
Yeah. Even to the point where the guy almost did a woo-hoo-hoo-hoo type thing at one point during a kill. Anyway, like we said, Shane did not like this first one, or the first one. So this one takes more place in Christopher Robin's world. Christopher Robin's Hood. Rather than the 100-Acre Wood.
Yeah.
Though we are in the 100-Acre Wood somewhat. But Pooh and the rest of his gang are now seeking vengeance on Christopher Robin.
Yeah.
And everyone that he's friends and family with. So
bit of an interesting narrative framing in this one too, where so obviously Christopher Robin is played by a different actor this time. Yeah. And that's explained away by the first movie actually just being a movie in this universe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a film made about Christopher Robin's life, or what had happened with the massacre. And yes, that the other guy was just a character that we had seen in the first film. So I was like, yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
And
definitely an interesting narrative decision. And I think I can't help but wonder if it was just kind of a way to answer some of the criticisms
possibly
of that. Right.
Possibly.
So, I don't know. Maybe.
Huh. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I thought this guy who played Christopher Robin was much better than the other Christopher Robin. I'm going to lay that out.
Oh man. Not just him either. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But all across the board, the acting in this film is so much better.
Yes.
It's unbelievable, honestly.
Yeah. It was like we took a really bad B film on the first one, and they stepped up their game on
Yeah.
this one. Anyway, so the big question of the day, Shane, what did you think of this film?
What did I think of this film?
What did you think of it? Here we go. Here we
Here
go.
we go. Okay.
Drum roll.
Drum roll. I did not dislike this film. Okay. So let me frame it that way.
Okay.
In fact, I would say like for the first half of this film, while I thought it was like really slow and it had some pacing issues and some framing issues as far as the narrative, I actually was at the point where like I'm liking where this is going. I really am liking where this was going. The only real complaint I have with the first half is that I think maybe there wasn't enough of the woodland creatures. Okay.
Okay.
Right. There was a really heavy emphasis on Christopher and his family and the people around him. Right.
Yeah.
You hit about this halfway point, and I want to say that like it's not just the acting. Literally everything about this movie is better than the first one. Every possible thing, that you might grade a film on, this one is better in every way.
Even the costumes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's still a pretty funny shot at the beginning, like where like you can see like the mask around the eyes maybe isn't quite
fitting
perfect.
Properly.
Yeah, but still, yeah, the costumes look great.
Yeah,
for sure. There is this point, like about halfway through the movie, where I feel like they go into this exposition, right, where they have to explain the origins of these woodland creatures.
Mm-hmm.
It's telegraphed from the beginning, but then they feel the need to explain it to you in this really long monologue, and then keep explaining it to you. You know, like, so if I had one massive criticism, it's that this movie doesn't respect the intelligence of its audience.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I think that overall this was actually a pretty decent slasher. Now, the narrative device, like the reasoning behind everything that's happening, is really, really stupid, in my opinion. But yeah, for the most part, I actually think it's pretty good. I do think like you hit that halfway point, and then we go from setting up a slasher movie to just being it's an all-out slasher fest, right? And nothing else matters. The story doesn't matter. Dialogue doesn't matter.
Way more kills. Way more kills in this one.
Yeah. It very much turns into okay, we almost didn't see these characters at all for the first half, so now we're just going to throw a whole bunch of stuff in here, right? Yeah. I mean, I still have significant problems with this film, and that's why I can't say I loved it. I might be able to go so far as to say I actually liked this one. And as irritated as I was by the end of it, I'm actually like, okay, when's the next one come out?
There you go.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, like for me, I thought it was a huge step up. And it was a stupid, fun, generic slasher, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he really addressed the issues with I had with the first one, which is my biggest problem with the first one is I didn't feel like he used the IP to its,
potential.
Yeah. I still don't know that he really did, but man, I will say Owl is a really cool character in this one.
Oh yeah. Very much
Owl's a really cool character.
Very much so.
I found Tigger to be extremely irritating. I honestly just wish he would have shut up. But
did you see I don't remember, did we do an episode on Five Nights at Freddy's?
Yeah.
We did do one. So you did watch it.
Yeah.
You have seen it.
Yeah.
So we basically watched it again. So if you're at all familiar with the storyline of Five Nights at Freddy's, this was almost a lot of the same beats. You have a guy who ends up having psychological issues. He's going in for a certain sort of reason, the same sort of reason, basically the same sort of storyline, and that And if you're familiar with Five Nights at Freddy's, the same thing that happens in Five Nights at Freddy's is the same storyline as what we are now dealing with Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2.
Yeah. With slight modifications to the exact how or the exact end result. But yeah, basically.
Do we though? But even with that, though, I loved it. I still loved this film. I liked it better than the first one by far. I thought they did a great job with this one. And like you said, it leaves itself where you aren't for sure if it's over. And then we're looking at part 3.
Oh yeah. So and not just part 3, but like, that the end credit scene, they've got this, it's just a bunch of sketches, right? But they're very clearly setting up the universe. What is it? The something twisted, demented childhood or whatever. I don't even know. Something like that. Yeah.
I don't remember. But we've got a lot of other things coming. I've heard that there's a Bambi one coming out. What else we got? The guy who plays the main character in this, he's supposed to be in some Cinderella horror remake. We've got,
I don't know if that one's actually connected to this universe, but
maybe not.
I don't know.
But it's like all these IPs are coming up for renewal and all that sort of stuff. And we've got Steamboat Willie and all that. It's not part of this, but still, it's interesting that they're taking all these things and just
but you know what? More power to them. I'm impressed with how much better it was. Now, Chris, what did you think of like practical effects versus CGI in this one?
CGI was better than it was in the first one.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
You can still tell where it was used.
Oh yes.
I mean, you still get bad overlays. But in a world where we have Black Adam, we have the Green Lantern, we have what was that other Ant-Man? The CGI wasn't too bad. So yeah.
I feel like I heard that the budget on this one was like 10 times that of the first one. My only complaint is I feel like maybe they spent too much of that on bad CGI. Right? I honestly think you could have put that money to better use doing more practical effects.
Yeah.
Right. Probably. And what's funny to me is to me, the worst example of bad CGI in this film wasn't even one of the kills. It was like, there's this overhead shot in this warehouse and like, there's supposed to be this like hatch that leads down an underneath section of this warehouse. And it's just, it couldn't be more obvious that hatch and leading down was CGI. I was like, oh my gosh, that's bad.
Yeah. Yeah, keep your shots lined up. That's all we're gonna say. But I'm glad that you enjoyed this one at least.
I did. Yeah, so. I thought it was fun. I do hope that in the future he'll have more of the kills on screen instead of silhouetted.
Yeah.
And one other thing I'll say, and I'll be interested to see if you agree with this or not. Christopher Robin in this film is one of the most inconsequential characters I have ever seen in a horror film. If he was not in this, the entire movie would still happen. I'm telling you.
Possibly, yeah, maybe.
I don't think anything in this movie happens as a direct result of him.
No, probably not. But we might get that in the third one.
Maybe.
We might get more of a reasoning in the third one.
Yeah.
We'll see. We will see. So let us know if you guys saw Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. Or as I like to call it, I liked it better than a Violent Nature. I did.
Really? Okay.
I did. I liked it better. But let us know down in the comments what you guys think. And while you're down there, make sure to hit like and subscribe. The first 50 viewers of this film or of this review of this podcast get to see it first. So
Right.
make sure you guys check it out as quickly as possible. That way you're one of the first ones to do it. Yeah, so next week we got another film. Make sure you guys also leave us some comments telling us what we should watch. So, but we do have another film picked out for next week that I think you guys are going to really enjoy or hate. It's two
No middle
options,
ground.
Steve.
No middle
There's no
ground on this
middle
one.
ground. There's no middle ground. Just like the rest of everything else in this world. So until next week, I'm Chris Mess.
I'm Shane. We'll see you.
Get the hell out of here. We'll see you guys.